The Cardinals have this great streak in franchise history since 1909 of having a Hall of Famer in the dugout. Let me read y'all some of these names. Roger Bashan, guy I've never heard of. Miller Huggins. Then you get into the Gas House game. You had Roger Hornsby, Frankie Fritsch, Johnny Mize, Stan Musial, Lou Brock. Then we get into the 80s with Whitey Herzog and Ozzie Smith. Ozzie rolls through 96 to 2011, LaRussa. We assume Pujols will be in there. We assume Yachty will get in at some point to roll the streak to 2022. Goldie and Nato will probably get in, which would roll the streak till is 2026 the year that it ends. Good evening and welcome to a Mitch'nandMauck'n About the Cards podcast. I'm Mitchell and joined as always by the two-time United States champion of the world. He is the owner and proprietor of the Superstition Ranch where we just finished Clash in Italy. Tyrell, did you watching the pay-per-view today?
I did not watch it in the pay-per-view today, and I totally forgot that it was on, honestly, and I'm a big in WWE.
Pouring down rain in central Missouri today. I slept really good to it. I couldn't tell you anything that happened other than I just watched Roman Reigns win again. Spoiler alert, Reigns wins. Kind of a B pay-per-view, kind of building up towards SummerSlam here in a couple months. It was okay. It killed the afternoon with no baseballs. The Cardinals played the Sunday night game of the world tonight,
Hey,
which is why
hey.
we're shooting the show at 4 o'clock St. Louis time. We're going to talk about the Cardinals series, but about an hour ago, some breaking news. Former, what are they called? Rule 5 pick Matt Pusher designated for assignment, and he has to be offered back to the Marlins. Hunter Dobbins up and available to pitch tonight. Dobbins was Memphis's scheduled starter today, so he's ready to go. It is Matthew Liberatore's turn on the bump today, and Libby has been struggling of late. Do you think we see Dobbins out of the gate tonight?
No, I think you're gonna stick with Libby. Unless there's more to this, struggling issue with Libby, then you will see Dobbins. I don't know if there's any, like, mechanics they need fixing. They're trying to work on something or a fatigue issue with him. I think you'll see Libby because I think they're gonna go for the win, so they want their best picture out there right now, which I
No,
actually is Dustin May,
and I
but
meant and I meant Dobbins was going to be out of the bullpen and
oh,
available.
yes, yeah, 100%. I think if Libby struggles, you'll see him go the rest. Yes, 100%.
Probably the first guy out of the chute, I would
Yeah,
guess. Is that
yep.
bullpen been worked to death this series? A nice win on Friday night, 6-5, kind of held on there. Riley O'Brien has come back down to earth his last couple outings.
Yes, he has. I think they've figured it out, and he needs to adjust now to them figuring out what he's gonna throw, so we'll see if that adjustment gets made.
And then, of course, Sunday, 6-1, we were talking about before we went on the air. Kind of just lifeless yesterday. The Cardinals are now 1-6 on nationally televised games, by the way. Not great for your brain and the national audience. We talk about him a lot because we're not fans, but what do you think of PCA's home run with the tarps off crowd chanting overrated and then the towel wave as he was rounding first?
I
You
mean,
like that swag. You like that stuff.
I like that swag, I like that stuff, but I don't like it when it's directed at the fans, because then you are showboating when you do that. Like, you can do it to the other dugout because you beat them, but, like, it's kind of a little bit more like, but hey, flame the rivalry, please. Thank you for that. Now we have a legitimate reason to hate you.
There has to make it a rivalry, you got to have some hatred.
Uh-huh.
And it used to be Ryan Sandberg. And then while Sammy Sosa was lovable, you still hated him because he was a Cub. And then you got into that Chris Bryant. And now St. Louis, you have public enemy number one in PCA. I think it's great. You got to have somebody to hang your hat on. You can't just hang it on the jersey. You got to have to channel that anger at somebody. And for this generation of Cardinal fans, it can be Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah, I am fully on board with that because, as we said in an earlier podcast, we also think he's overrated.
To be fair, though, to his credit, his dad was a multi-time Tour de France champion, and his mom Cheryl, like her music was on point. I did love some Cheryl Crow there for a while. And the first cut is the deepest. That song hit. He's about
Yes,
the
it did.
age where they could have been his. I mean, they are his parents, right? Like, am I wrong on that?
Yeah, yeah. uh,
The pride of Southeast Missouri, Cheryl Crow.
Oh,
Looking at the Sunday night game of the world, the lineup is out. One note I want to make after I kind of read it to you: JJ, Herrera the DH, Walker and Wright. There's your top three. Nelson Velasquez playing left field. Interesting there. Burley, fifth with a right-hander, kind of struggled late. Mason Wynn, Jose Fermin in center. So Jay-Z at third, and then Pajes behind the plate. They called up Jimmy Crooks. In our next segment is free Jimmy Crooks. We'll talk about that here in a second. But Fermin in center is an interesting one. And with a lefty on the mound for the Cubs tonight, they are going with Sajacy at third and his 169 average, and Burley drops to fifth. Velasquez, who is atrocious in left field, the DH, but he can mash some left-handed pitching. What's your thought on the lineup?
they're going for power. They're trying to extend the lineup down is what they're trying to do, is keep their line movement against a left-hander. I guess why Fermin's in there because they're just trying to get him at bats at this point, it feels like to me, and playing him anywhere because they're trying to make him a little spark plug. So that's kinda interesting, especially in center, man. That's, okay. I like the no Gorman, I like the Sajacy. I feel like they're on par together, so if you're gonna give Gorman that many at bats, you better start giving Sajacy some at bats and see which one of those could actually win the third base. Because I think Sajacy could be he's alright fielding wise.
Weather holds up to 244. That's not terrible for a rookie. Herrera 260, I can see a little higher. Walker at 290. Velasquez 2 out of 3. We'll take that all day long. Burley 10 280. And here's where it starts to get really nasty. Mesa Win 234. For me at 231. So JC 169. And then Pa has 219. Your 6 through 9, we talked about our last show, is just atrocious. They're automatic outs at this point.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Mason Wynn figures it out, man. He can he goes in fits and stutters. I want to see him. I know his glove plays well. His arm plays well. I'd like to see that average maybe get up there closer to 250, 260. I'd be happy with that. Uh,
With Gold Glove defense, 250 plays.
yes, but this 230 stuff, like we're getting too far down the opposite end. And baseball has got a problem with batting average anymore anyway because there's nobody hitting over 300. Like it feels like it's a miracle if you're hitting 300. So when Walker's hitting 290, I'm pretty happy with that, especially the way he's been touting. So, but that bottom of that lineup is so bad.
And one of the moves they made Friday night was to free Jimmy Crooks from his Memphis prison, so to speak. Ollie came out and said he's going to be our primary catcher. He's caught one game, Tyrell, since in
Yeah,
those three.
yeah,
They
yeah.
they said
Seems,
Pajes was going to be our number 3. Herrera was going to catch my greedy Palante, and we'll see. Yesterday went over, and then he's sitting again.
what if that's Libby's decision? Then I'm okay with it. But I'm with you. Like you brought him up here for a reason to help with this 6 through 9 fiasco that we're going through with the batting lineup. You brought him up for that reason, and now you're still not playing him. So it's baffling sometimes how they manage this roster.
Does Heim need to pull essentially what Oakland did in Moneyball? Well, Pajes is catching tonight. No, he's not. Billy, he's gonna catch. He can't. I traded him. Is that what it's gonna take to get rid of Pajes, who was beloved in the clubhouse?
I think so because I think that's one of those that yes, just because you're beloved in the clubhouse that they're giving him all this run, but it's but like you said, or Ollie said a couple weeks ago, it was a week ago, that he's totally fine with their catching. So this is Heim saying, play him. I brought him up for a reason, play him. So you could probably have that situation here unfold.
When you kind of look at the next series, the Texas series, 2 righties in a row on Monday and Tuesday. To be fair, one of those is Jacob deGrom, who's not the Jacob deGrom he used to be, a Cy Young winner, but still a really good pitcher. And then Nathan Eovaldi on Tuesday. There's your 2 back-to-back chances to pitch Jimmy Crooks or to catch. With that, the Cardinals will throw McGreevy. That's Herrera's start normally behind the plate. And then Dustin May on Tuesday. Wednesday, Palante, which would also be Herrera again if you just follow the pattern. So you're going to give him 1 start. 2 starts in 6 games after you called him up to bring to be here.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. You just brought him up here to turns to be a bench player, which is ridiculous. You need him to be, on the field, being the catcher that we've seen in AAA.
I'm a platoon guy. I'm a big believer in right left-handed splits, but to be an elite major leaguer, you have to be able to hit from both sides, right-handed and left-handed pitching. And they say all the time, it's a rebuilding year, it's a runaway year, whatever year you want to use it. Why not let these guys hit against left-handed pitching?
There's, I think it's because there's that fear of they're gonna mess with their heads too much. Like, they're, like, trying to set them up for the ultimate success and try to keep them going successfully, so they don't wanna mess with their confidence, and I think they overthink themselves and get in that mind space of, "Hey, let's not hit him against left-handed, pitcher because he might not, he might go in a slump, and then he's in a funk, and then we gotta bring him down." So I think they're always worried about this confidence with these guys, is my feeling on it.
Well, I guess we'll see tomorrow night, but it is, like I said, it is Herrera's kind of guy to catch. McGreevy, I think you got to make a decision somewhere with the catching instead of just kind of rotating guys in and out based off of, a pitcher's preference, whatever. Like, this is our guy. This is the one. Get comfortable with him because he's going to be the one there.
Yeah, it was kinda like, a couple years ago when the pitchers had a did thing against Wilson Contreras. So, yeah, shut up, this is who your catcher is, gonna deal with it.
Learn,
Yeah.
get over it. The Texas Rangers are in town Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all night games. Texas 27-31. Don't follow a ton of the American League myself anymore. They got a couple of young talents. Ethan Carter's a solid player. They got Haggerty, but that's about all I know about him. I do know that the guy in the dugout is one that we wish St. Louis would have hired and Skip Schumacher.
Yes, absolutely. I like to, don't they isn't Josh Jung on that team too?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's the third.
Okay, he's like the another one that's, like, up and coming or has peaked and whatever. But, yes, I wish that Skip would have been on her, they'd have hired him because I think what I saw him do with Miami with a young team could have been very beneficial for the Cardinals here with a young team and got them to play for everything that they're worth.
Maybe he's the guy. If you look at contracts and timing, he's the guy they bring in when they're ready to compete.
Okay.
But Ollie has done a good job with his team. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. Like we bitch about Ollie all the time, but he's getting better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still don't know if he's a guy who, when they're ready to win in 28, if he's going to be the guy.
Dude, it's literally it's all because Mo hired him. And then that first debacle in 22 with the Phillies, like, it's hung on him for a while. Uh,
I'm not ever going to outlive that one.
yeah, I doubt so. I doubt either that, yeah. Especially with the what he had for in 22.
That was the last chance, man.
Huh. We say
Been a
that all the
4 year.
time. Yep, yep. That'd have been so awesome to walk away with. They were rolling too.
Tyrell tomorrow is June 1st. Kind of when we start to look at possible trade candidates, trade deadline. Sports Illustrated tweeted out 4 names that the Cardinals are already floating. None of them are really a surprise. Lars Newbar, Jojo Romero, Dustin May, okay, maybe this one, and Nolan Gorman. What are your thoughts on those 4 names and who's going to bring the biggest package back and what kind of package are they hoping to get? Let's talk about them all. Let's just go through them all, kind of 1 through 4 there. Tell me about Lars Newbar.
I think Lars is gonna bring you probably a mid-tier prospect because of his injuries past. I know he's an analytics darling and probably a player to be named later. He's not gonna bring you a lot right now because he's coming back from an injury. I know they think he's worth the moon. They should have traded him 2 years ago when there was actual offers out there. I just don't know what team is gonna overpay for Lars Nootbaar at 28 years old.
If you get in a bind and need outfield help, is he your guy? I mean, is he the one who can? Is he duct tape? I guess if you've got an outfielder who goes on the DL late, can you trade for a Lars Newbar to get you through 30 games, 50 games?
Yes, and I think that's what his stretch is. I think that's perfect for him. Of course I just did that. That's perfect for him because he's that type of guy that could carry a team a little bit like get on base wise for the big boppers to come up there. So I think he is that guy where that could hit those 50 games 330 for you and actually help get you to the playoffs and if that's what you're needing. Because he's a
Next,
half a year, he's a half a thing darling, half a season darling.
you could ride a hot streak from him for a month and get something out of it. But you think he's bringing back low level prospects, maybe a mid at the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's anything you're not gonna get any, major league talent ready for him because they don't know what he is still, like, Verdict's still out there and when you say duct tape, well, he's held together with duct tape a lot of the times, it feels like.
Would you get somebody's top 3 prospect for him?
If he comes up in June or yeah, in June and rakes, then yes, but you're talking he'd have to go on a friggin' tear, for them to bring something like that, and send one of their players get injured, I think.
Next name on the list, Jojo Ramiro, a lefty rental. What can he bring back?
I think he'll bring everybody's looking for star relievers. I think he'll bring a top 75 prospect back.
Ugh, that's not great. A top 75 guy?
I
I mean, that's
it's it's that day
are
and
you
age.
talking an organizational top 75 or an MLB top 75?
Uh, MLB top 75, not organizational.
I could see that. So somewhere in the top 15 farm organization, most likely.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Because like you said, he's a rental, and if the teams feel after our CBA proposal episode, I I think that they do think that there's going to be a lockout. So why overpay? So you're going to get a decent, but they're going to go for it
Now, this is the guy I think is going to bring back a king's ransom, and that is going to be Dustin May if he's healthy.
if he's healthy. Uh, I think you're going to get a top 10 prospect out of him from an organization. And I don't
I
know.
think a top 10 plus.
Yeah, you could. Yes. Yeah. Plus somebody else. And I don't know what that would be. Maybe a low level A player that's got some good upside. They'd go for that.
But you could get major league ready talent for Dustin May.
I know. I don't know other people's prospects that well. I needed to delve into that a little bit more so I can give us a little bit more feedback on that.
And then finally, Nolan Gorman. To me, Gorman is a guy that we trade our problem for your problem.
Yeah, yeah. So you get a competitive balance pick for him. I mean, there's nothing there. You're selling low on the guy.
Like I just said, it would be we have this guy who's struggling. Gorman is struggling. Let's see if a change of scenery does either of them good.
Okay, what
I think you get that thing.
are you going third base for third base?
I would take whatever somebody was willing to give me at this Nolan Gorman.
I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I'm just trying to what's a
Not a
struck?
contender doesn't want him. He strikes out too often. He doesn't offer you enough consistent pop to be a bench piece for a contender. He's going to have to go somewhere like Anaheim or a place like that that's not competing where he can just go Colorado, somewhere like that. He could thrive in Colorado.
I'm gonna give you a name of an organization. You're gonna tell me I'm crazy, but I think because it's got a short fence, I'm gonna say the New York Yankees.
Or that Yankee short porch and right. The New York media would eat him alive.
They would, but I could see him just being a straight pull hitter and just raking for the Yankees for the last couple months of the year.
That would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, but don't worry, he's gonna sputter out in the playoffs and show his true colors.
That's
Yeah.
which that gives us a great transition to our next topic, the third base problem that St. Louis has had. Gorman's not it. We have established that. I sent you this text last night. Blaze Jordan goes 5 for 5 in Memphis, hitting 333 now. He's got to be next, right?
I think that's
On
why
the
they're
trade
floating Gorman. They see it.
Gorman does have an option left. Why is he? Send him down to the Buzz Leagues and let him figure it out and let Blaze go.
I don't know. Because they've had him up for so long, but you know who he is at this point. So yeah. Yeah, I think the way they've been reorganizing the roster back and forth to AAA now, I think Jordan is probably going to get a run after the All-Star break.
That late?
Yeah, I think they're going to give him as much leeway as they can, not and see who Gorman is if they see if they see any changes in him, and then they're going to probably just if Jordan's still tearing it up.
You get a right-handed bat that you desperately need with some pop. We've got Sajasi hitting 160 out there. Fermin has not played there yet. He's got to be next, or Brian Torres. I mean, they're just going to keep throwing guys out there to see what happens at this point, right?
Yeah, they're going to have to. Yeah, and is it? And nobody's run with the ability to like, oh, well, I'm going to take over this third base. They don't do that. So uh, maybe you're right. It might be sooner.
I was trying to look up the rules here. A player earns 1 year of Major League service by accumulating 172 days on the active roster. Blaze Jordan, we're well past that. I mean, we're past the 16-day service clock thing, so they could essentially bring Blaze up now, and it would they'd still get that extra year on the service clock if that's the dirty game they want to play and the manipulation of time, etc. We're past that
Yeah,
with June being tomorrow. A premium power spot cannot have a guy hitting 169 on a nationally televised game.
I agree with you 100%. I I but the only thing we've said against Blaze is like we don't think the glove plays. But I'm gonna tell you what, if you're popping, I don't really care about your glove work.
No, if you can hit 280 and hit bombs, I could give a shit less if you could play defense.
Yeah.
So Jason can go play after the seventh inning.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah. After you're I agree. Yeah. Okay.
I was kind of looking for kind of an interesting topic, Tyrell, and the Cardinals have this great streak in franchise history since 1909 of having a Hall of Famer in the dugout. Let me read y'all some of these names. Roger Bashan, guy I've never heard of. Miller Huggins. Then you get into the Gas House game. You had Roger Hornsby, Frankie Fritch, Johnny Mize, Stan Musial, Lou Brock. Then we get into the 80s with Whitey Herzog and Ozzie Smith. Ozzie rolls through 96. 96 to 2011, LaRussa. We assume Pujols will be in there. We assume Yachty will get in at some point to roll the streak to 2022. Goldie and Nado will probably get in, which would roll the streak to last season. Is 2026 the year that it ends?
Uh I guess I'm looking at this and they have managed. Does Yachty still count? Because he's in uniform in the dugout.
As a coach, maybe?
Maybe. It's the only thing that I can
But
think. Uh
120-year history of having somebody in the dugout that's a Hall of Famer
that's
in uniform.
it is so impressive and such a cool thing to the history and how much it stretches out like that. That is so cool about Cardinal baseball. Uh, do I think there's a current Hall of Famer on the roster in the dugout? I think Mason Wynn is the one that has the most potential because of his fielding. The problem with that is it's going to be hard to for that to get voted in because everybody's went offense so hard for now. Everything else
The
is
last
verdict's
glove
out,
that
dude.
got in was Omar Vizquel.
Yes, yeah, and that took some time. So I think it could probably be over.
120 years of history down the tube.
Yeah.
Unless we count Yachty as a coach,
Yes.
which we might just to keep the streak alive at this
Yeah. At
point.
some point, you kind of do that stuff anyway. Once you get that long streak, it's like, whoa, we got to keep this going. So let's just change the parameters just a tad bit. We're still good.
Another history lesson. On this day in 2014, Oscar Taveras debuted. First big league hit was a homer into right field. Arguably the greatest what if in Cardinal history, if only for A, the fact that he was the next superstar in line, and then two, the ripple effect of what the organization did after his passing. And mostly I'm talking about the Marcell Ozuna trade.
Yep. Yeah. That was a struggle to hurry up. So then you lost Alcantara and you lost Zach Gallen with that.
Who won Cy Young?
Yes. You lost them. You got Ozuna, and I did not think Ozuna was worth it because he was hitting behind, in front of Giancarlo Stanton. Like you're going to get a ton of fastballs in front of Giancarlo Stanton. Like he feasted. So I didn't think he was the right Marlins outfielder that the Cardinals should have went for. I thought Yelich was the right one to go for, but I still wasn't a Christian Yelich fan either, just because that ballpark was so big in Miami. But yeah, there's a lot of trickle down effect from Taveras' death.
And so, and as the story went with the Marlins, Stanton turned him down. He had a no trade clause. Appreciated the history of the Cardinals. Didn't want to go to St. Louis. They also had San Francisco also had a deal in place for him. He didn't want to go there either. He got flipped to the Yankees. Mo panicked because he asked for Yelich, wanted Yelich. No, we're not trading him yet. We don't think we're going to. Panicked and ended up throwing Gallen in because he'd already offered Alcantara for Yelich. Panicked throwing Zach Gallen in, and now the rest is history. And the organization for the last decade plus has been chasing a right fielder that finally Jordan Walker has developed to. But you look at what's been in right field since Oscar passed: Dexter Fowler, Jason Hayward, and so on and so on and so on. Reno Grichuk.
Grichuk, Piscotty.
It just never could settle.
Yeah, the outfit has been unsettled for a long time. They have not had a good unified three for a long time, and it's been hard to watch premium positions like that, and you're not getting what you want out of them.
He was the next homegrown developed star. That's what he was supposed to be. Now, I'm not going to say he was going to be Pools level, but he was projected to be an all-star.
Yeah, 100%, and, like, he was on that trajectory anyway because you just saw it. Those big home runs he was having every time, so yeah.
And then you look at the ripple effects. What a rotation would have been, led by a veteran Michael Wacha, Jack Flaherty, Carlos Martinez, Sandy Alcantara, and Zach Gallen for your rotation in the 2010s.
You talk about continuing the tradition on of star-studded pitching that we were on at that point was when we went from, hell, you can go from Matt Morris to Darryl Kyle to Chris Carpenter to Adam Wainwright, and then you have Walker, Sal Alcantara, Galen. I mean, that would have been such a great, starting five.
No, he has a lot of injury problems, at least early in his career. Did they give up on Waka too soon? He was supposed to be the next guy. He was supposed to follow the Morris, the Kyle, the Carpenter, the Wainwright. It was his turn next to be that veteran leader.
I think they gave I yes, in my mind, I do think they gave up on Walker too quick, but I also because then they were scrambling for somebody to get in there. I but I also saw a change of scenery was gonna be good for him. But I there's another what if of Cardinal baseball if they'd have kept with Michael Walker.
He did pitch today, by the way, just randomly. He gave up 6 earned runs in 5 innings. However, his season stats, at 34 years old, he's 4-2 with a 2.69 ERA and 60 Ks. The Royals are struggling mightily. He's probably a guy that he might be the biggest name on the block free agent pitch or rental wise this summer.
Ooh.
That's a guy they got to crack if they're still in it, man.
Yeah, that would be nice.
His best season in St. Louis, 2015 season where he was 17-7. The injury bug kind of hit that middle of his career, but then 14-4 with San Diego, 13-8 with the Royals, 10-13 last year. But his ERA was 3.86. I mean, he's a solid big league pitcher. That was the guy who was supposed to be him.
I think they expected too much from him because he came right from the College World Series right into the big leagues. And I think they just expected a lot out of him and to anchor that. So they threw him a lot of innings quickly. And I think it was just too much too soon for him.
Funny story about Michael Wacha. The day he made his major league debut was the night we left for our honeymoon. We watched the game in St. Louis, or we watched the game at home. We lived in Mexico at the time. Massive rain delay. They were playing the Royals. There was no makeup day on the calendar. The game had a 6-hour rain delay. We were pulling into the airport at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and the game got over in Warrenton. By the time we hit Warrenton. So the game lasted until 2 or 3 in the morning. I listened to the game the whole way, the whole drive home. So that's what I always remember about Michael Wacha was the day we left for our honeymoon in 2013 was the day that 2013 is when we got married. Was the day that was the day of his major league debut.
That's awesome.
Fun story.
It's a great story.
And Friday night, it's summer, it's June. Tyrell, what's your beverage choice? Give me one alcoholic and one non-alcoholic.
I am going poolside with a Michelob Ultra Lime Cactus. It is just a
Oh,
oh man, the heat of the summer, pounding those things like the water delicious. Non-alcoholic, I'm going Sprite Zero Sugar Chill.
oh, okay. That's fancy. Let's start with a non-alcoholic. Give me an Arnold Palmer in the summer.
Okay.
Always a classic. And for the non-alcoholic, you can go with the John Daly and throw some rum in there,
Yes.
excuse sweet tea vodka. That's the way to do it. And then, as you know from our previous talks, I'm a big Kenny Chesney fan. Give me a Make Me Disappear.
Oh, okay. What
Some Blue Chair Bay rum, some cognac, some orange juice, some lime. That's a nice one.
and it almost sounds like an AMF a little bit, but
And either way, but give me a cocktail by the poolside, which is the only acceptable time as a man to drink a cocktail like that is by a pool
exactly.
or by the ocean.
Bro, when we were in Mexico, all I was drinking was Miami Vices, pina coladas, strawberry daiquiris. I did not give an F. I wanted something fruity and it was delicious.
The Miami Vice is underrated.
Yes, it is, especially when you tell them to put a little drop of the the glass in there, more alcohol, so it gets more drunk as you get going.
Uh, And of course, when you're in Mexico, you gotta have a pina colada and things like that on the beach.
Yes, absolutely.
It, it's not the booze that get you on those things, man. It's the sugar, man.
Yes, 100, dude, 100.
Never feel sick from the alcohol. It's always like 3 or 4 of those later. It's all the damn sugar I just put in my system.
That and then I try to switch back to beer, and it just does not work. Like it just bubbles up there. And I'm like, nope, we're gonna have to stick with hard alcohol the rest of the time.
No, or just drink tequila like a man out of the bottle.
Whew, whew. I've fallen off of tequila, honestly. I used to be huge, huge. Like we would get bottles all the time, like good bottles. And now I take a shot of tequila and I'm like, nope, no thank you. Can't do it. Just burns back my throat to the wrong way.
Are you you a rum guy?
I'm starting to get back into it. There for a while, I couldn't do I did rum and cokes for years, and then suddenly, like, nope, heartburn kicked in, couldn't do them no more. So I've been getting back onto them here in the last month or so.
I like the pirate culture. I've been first mate with a captain many, many time. And so I am a big rum fan. I don't do a lot of the weird flavor stuff. Just give me the captain. Give me the traditional spiced rums.
Yeah, I think is it Parrot Bay, maybe.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
clear.
Sailor Jerry's. That's the one I like. Yeah,
Taylor
yeah, Sailor
Jerry.
Jerry's.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go. That's what it is. There's one called the Octopus, dude. I think it's or the Kraken, whatever. Yeah,
Kraken.
dude, that is some powerful rum. Wow.
May have to try that one. I have not partaken in
Yeah,
that one.
yeah, that's I got real loose real quick on that, and I was at the height of my peak drinking days, and I was like, I don't get this loose this quick on alcohol. What is going on?
I thought you were Jack Sparrow.
I absolutely did. It was humming in the sea shanty was going on in my head. And I was having a great time.
Ah. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. We will finish up with the sea shanties next time. Ball game's on in about an hour. For the Mouth of the West, Tyrell Mock. I am Mitchell Jenkins, and we will see you on Thursday.